Hey creators! Recently, the new version of the Flux Union ControlNet model was released. The previous version came out about 8 months ago. And honestly, I didn't use it much because the quality just wasn't great. But after running a bunch of tests this time around, I'm happy to say this new version actually works well. I've generated a lot of images, comparing it to the old version and even the depth LoRa from Black Forest Lab. And let me tell you, this one's a big improvement. You can grab the model from Hugging Face. I'll leave the download link in the description below. The file size is 4.28 gigabytes, which is pretty manageable. The older version was 6.6 gigabytes. So it's definitely smaller. If 4.28 gigabytes still feels like a bit much for your GPU, there's also an FP8 version that's only 2.14 gigabytes. Now, once you've downloaded the model, you'll want to place it in the conf.ui/model/controlnet folder. I suggest renaming the file to flux.1dev controlnet union pro 2.0 to keep things organized. You might be wondering about the union in the file name. Well, that's because this model works with a variety of ControlNet types. In fact, there are 5 different types you can choose from. How do I know this? When you open the images folder, you'll find demo images made by the author. The file names there tell you which ControlNet types were used. Canny, depth, gray, which is for recoloring black and white images, open pose, and soft edge. I personally tested 2 types, canny and depth. But before I show you the results of those tests, let me walk you through the workflow I set up to generate the test images. This way, you understand exactly how everything was created and what parameters work best with this new model. This workflow I set up is designed for the canny type. You can see the canny edge here. We'll compare how well the model performs by matching the generated images with the original one. This workflow generated 3 final output images for this. The first one uses the canny LoRa from Black Forest Lab to generate images based on a canny edge. So I've labeled it Flux Canny LoRa. The other 2 were made with the Union ControlNet models. One is from the old version of Union Pro, and the other is from the new version. I've also labeled this for easy comparison. Looking at this Set Union ControlNet Type node, you'll notice the ControlNet type is set to canny. But here's the thing, you don't really need to use this node. The Apply ControlNet node automatically detects the type of image you import and adjusts accordingly. For instance, in this workflow, I'm recoloring a black and white image to color using the new Union ControlNet model. I didn't set the ControlNet type manually, and it still worked perfectly fine. So if you want to use ControlNet for depth, all you need to do is change the image in the Apply ControlNet from the canny edge to a depth map. Simple as that. Now there are 3 parameters you can adjust in the Apply ControlNet node. The start percent should always stay at 0, but what about the other 2? Well, the author has actually listed recommended settings on the model card on Hugging Face, so let's check that out. When you scroll down on the page, you'll see a section called Recommended Parameters. Here you'll find that the author recommends 2 key parameters, ControlNet Conditioning Scale and Control Guidance End. The ControlNet Conditioning Scale corresponds to the strength parameter in the Apply ControlNet node, and the Control Guidance End corresponds to the end percent in the same node. Do these recommended settings give the best results? In many cases, yes. Let's take a look at some test images to see how they turn out. So this image was generated using recommended parameters. The depth ControlNet strength is set to 0.8 and the end percent is also 0.8. Let's compare this with an image generated using force strength for ControlNet. Can you spot the difference? The image generated with force strength has noticeably worse quality. In fact, with force strength, almost all the results are generally worse than when using the recommended settings. But do the recommended settings always give the best results? Not necessarily. These parameters are actually a balance between ControlNet accuracy and overall image quality. Take a look at this example. When I lower the strength from 0.8 to 0.6, the water glass on the camping table disappeared. This shows a loss of accuracy, because if you check the original image, you can clearly see the water glass on the table. Also, in the original image, the woman on the left looks like she's eating a kebab. In the version with 0.8 strength, the image tries to replicate her pose and the kebab, but something about the details just looks off. When the strength was lowered to 0.6, the image stopped trying to match the kebab and the pose from the original, and the result was a more polished, high-quality image. Okay, maybe this example wasn't convincing enough. Let's look at another one. Here's an image of a woman standing in front of a car, also generated with the recommended parameters. Notice how the overall brightness seems unnaturally dim. When you compare it with the original, you'll see that the hand posture and the car key shape are pretty accurately restored. Now compare that with an image where the ControlNet depth is set to 0.6. The tones look more natural and the details are sharper. However, the hand pose and key shape are no longer as accurate. The same thing happens with ControlNet Canny. The recommended strength of 0.7 gives an unnatural tone, but lowering the strength to 0.6 leads to a more natural tone, even though now the key is being held differently. It's no longer consistent with the original pose. Let's check out one last example. Here's the original image. The woman has one hand stacked on top of the other. The image generated with the recommended parameters has a very similar pose, but notice something odd. There's a transparent plastic plate next to her right arm. If you compare it with the original, you'll realize that it's supposed to be a motorcycle seat backrest in the original image, but the AI seems to have misunderstood that shape and the material. When I lower the strength to 0.6, the AI stopped trying to replicate the backrest, resulting in better image quality. But as you can see, the pose changed too much in the process. I think you now have a good grasp on how to set the parameters for the Apply ControlNet node. Now let's dive into something important. You haven't seen the images comparing Union ControlNet V2 with other models yet, so let's take a look. In this comparison, the image on the upper left is the original, while the image on the upper right was generated using depth LoRa from V2’s lab. The image on the lower left is from Union ControlNet V1, and the lower right shows the result from Union ControlNet V2. While the poses of the woman in these images are similar, the details are where things differ. The image generated by Canny LoRa has the worst details. Let's zoom in and compare the two images on the bottom. Notice there are a lot of issues with the image generated by Union ControlNet V1, but most of these problems are gone in the V2 version. Now let's check out the ControlNet depth example. This time, the image quality generated by the depth LoRa is much better. Actually, in general, all images generated by depth LoRa have better quality than those made by Canny LoRa. However, the major flaw of these V2’s lab LoRas is that they can't be used for image-to-image generation. That's where Union ControlNet comes in. It's much more flexible for this purpose. The improvements in Union ControlNet V2 are pretty obvious. For example, look at the lags in the image generated by V1. There's a clear problem with them, but this issue is fixed in V2. Not only does V2 improve image quality, but it also reduces file size. With this new version, I can safely delete the old one. Before, I was using SDXL ControlNet as a bridge in many of my workflows because the performance of the Flux-based ControlNet was so poor, but now I'm seriously considering whether to replace it with a V2 version of Union ControlNet. I might even update some of my previous workflows to incorporate this new version. Let's see how it goes.